What was in your speech again about the president?
2023, 2024, and 2025 national budget. I was asking the president, why did he allow?
He signed on with
Hindi,
the...
why did he allow? For 3 years. Kasi kung 1 year, baka napalusutan lang siya. Pero kung 3 years, may kabinete siya, ba't hindi sila kumibo? Ba't tumahimik sila na sinalaula yung national budget? It's the first time that it happened in the history. It's unprecedented. Oh. So, tinatanong ko yung presidente, bakit po pinayagan? Kasi, para sa akin, hindi ako makapaniwala na hindi niya alam. So, it's just a question of complicity or a question of competence?
Minsan nasa Shangri-La ako. I'm reading your quote, sir.
Yeah.
Minsan nasa Shangri-La ako, nakita ko si Ann Curtis. Ang ganda-ganda pala niya. You know, my desire sa loob ko na nag-init talaga. At na-imagine ko na lang kung ano ang pwedeng mangyari.
Karen.
Why did you say that?
Wala nga ho tayo mahabang pag-uusapan ngayon mga ka-reaction update PH Kong Edgar Erice, sumabog ho, sinupalpal at hinamon niya ho ang ating presidente na mga ka-update na imposible nga naman hong walang alam si Bongbong Marcos Jr. sa matinding korupsyon na nangyayari sa ating bansa. Usaping bilyon-bilyon, trilyon-trilyon ho, pumalo na nga ho sa 18 trilyon ng utang ng Pilipinas, pero hanggang ngayon mga ka-update wala ho siya napapatunayan, wala ho pa siya napapakitang major projects niya. Ano po yung major projects na pinagyayabang ni Marcos Jr. mga ka-update? Ayan ho, nasa Bukana Bridge na hindi naman ho siya ang nagsimula, hindi naman ho siya talaga ang pinakautak na nagpapagawa, o alam nyo na, ang pumondo, hindi naman ho si Marcos Jr. Pero saan nga ho ba talaga napupunta ang milyon-milyon, bilyon-bilyon, trilyon-trilyon hong pondo ng ating bansa na hanggang ngayon mga kapdita, lugmok pa rin ho ang mga Pilipino. Milyon-milyong Pilipinong nagugutom mga kapdita, nangangailangan ng trabaho. Ano hong binibigay ng gobyerno? Binibigyan ho ng ayuda, pinapaasa ho sa isang kahig at isang tuka mga kapdita. Imbis na bigyan ho ng marangal na trabaho ang ating mga kababayan, hindi ho sila pinagtutuunan ng pansin. Pati nga mga farmers, mga kapatid, nakita naman ho natin kung gaano kahirap ang buhay ngayon sa administrasyon, lalo na may giyera. Sinabi na ho dyan, mga kapatid, na pwede hong pumalo ng 90 pesos ang mga gasolina. Ganyan ho kahirap ngayon. Hindi pa ho tayo nasasampulan na, mga kapatid, hindi pa ho tayo nasasali sa giyera. Pero yung pamilihin ho sobrang taas na. Paano mga kapatid kung pati ho ang ating bansa nagkagiyera? Ano hong gagawin ni Marcos Jr.? Wala hong gagawin niya, ang gagawin nila mga kapatid, tatakaso sila ng kanyang pamilya, iiwan ang milyon-milyong Pilipino dito. Para magutom at maubos. Ganyan ho yung administrasyon. Kasi tingnan nyo naman mga kapatid, pag usaping korupsyon, sa ano sila nakatutok? Ayan, sa vice presidente. Bakit kahit alam na ho nilang dawit ang presidenteng ngagba diyan sa mababang kapulungan mga kapatid, wala ho silang sinasabi. Nauna pa ho malitis si BP Sara dyan sa kanyang impeachment na inihahain na graft and corruption, culpable of violation, lahat mga kapatid. Ginawan ho nito talaga ng paraan. Ginawan ho ng paraan si BP Sara para maiusad ang impeachment niya. Kasi nga mga kapatid, malapit na ho ang 2028 presidential election. Yan ho yung kinatatakot ng mga kongresista. Isa pa mga kapatid, bakit pagdating talaga sa panggigipit dito sa mga, alam niyo na, kasamahan ho ng mga Duterte, kahit nga hindi ho kasamahan ng mga Duterte, hindi ka lang naaayon sa administrasyon. Diba, lumabas ho itong 18 ex-Marines. Ano ho sinabi ni Boying Remula? Pamumuliti ka lang daw ho iyan. Hindi ho sila naniniwala sa mga paglantad ng 18 ex-Marines. Ganyan ho kakakapal ang pagmumuka ng administrasyon ng Marcos Jr. Kaya ito hong panunuplak na itong si Kong Edgar Erice, mga kapatid, hindi niya na humapigilan ang kanyang sarili. Dahil nga, pilit hong pinagtatakpan ng mababang kapulungan, ayan yung mga kasamahan niya hong kongresista, ang korupsyon ng presidente at ng pinsan niya si Martin Luther King. Hindi lang yan ang ating pag-uusapan. Ito, kilala niyo ba ito mga kapatid? Si Kong Bong Suntay. Dito kasi nagkaitan ho sila nito si Miss Karen Davila. Dahil nga alam niyo na ho, yung naging issue niya doon kay Miss Ann Curtis. Dito mukhang makakasuhan na ho talaga siya at desidido na. Dito mga kapatid, mismo si Karen Davila nagalit na ho at sumabog sa kanya. Kaya update, kung bago lang ho sa ating channel, isang like, isang share, isang subscribe lamang ho. Malaking tulong na yan. React na muna ho tayo. Pero bago yan mga update, pasadahan muna ho natin itong si Kong Edgar Erice. Kasama ho dyan sila Attorney Trixie mga update kaya rekta na ho tayo dito.
Malacanang was among those who voiced disapproval.
This is definitely a sexual innuendo. Hindi po ito masasabing walang krimen. Na-offend ako para sa lahat ng kababaihan. Lalo na kung ipagmamalaki pa na karangalan ng isang babae na siya ay pagpantasyahan.
Palace Press Officer Undersecretary Claire Castro adds any threats directed to people should not be brushed aside. Gabriela Partyless Representative Sara Elago called Suntay's recent statements a non-apology. Elago adds they are studying possible actions to remind lawmakers to observe proper decorum. But the chairperson of the Women and Gender Equality Committee, Laguna 1st District Representative Ann Matibag, is quickly taking action. Matibag has asked the majority leader to refer Suntay's offensive remarks to the Committee on Ethics.
Panawagan natin na dapat requirement sa lahat ng House members yung pagkakaroon ng gender sensitivity trainings.
Ang babae ay hindi biro, hindi rin siya pantasya, at ang dignidad ng kababaihan ay hindi kailanman dapat maging katatawanan sa loob ng Kongreso. Madam Speaker, may I respectfully review all what happened. Request the Majority Floor Leader to refer this matter to the Committee on Ethics and Privileges to conduct hearing at the earliest possible time.
Quezon City Mayor Joy Belmonte has also called on Suntay to apologize. Belmonte adds Suntay was City Council Majority Floor Leader when the Bawal Bastos Ordinance was passed. Various celebrities have chimed in, and they are one in saying that Suntay's comments were uncalled for. And Sister Jasmine Curtis Smith also called out Suntay, saying he should consider being quiet because what he said was not an apology. It's Showtime, which counts Ann Curtis as one of its hosts, made a simple post on the Bawal Bastos law on its Facebook page. Agatha Gregorio, ABS-CBN News.
All right, joining us now is Quezon City 4th District Representative Bong Suntay. Representative Suntay, good morning to you, sir.
Hi, good morning, Ms. Karen. Good morning po.
All right. Well, first of all, you've been in several interviews already at this point, so I want to move it forward. Do you now understand why you are facing the backlash of what you've said? Naiintindihan niyo po ba ang epekto o kamalian ng nasabi niyo po, Representative?
Yes, Ms. Karen, of course, kaya nga, lagi ko naman sinasabi, I regretted that may nasaktan. I had to make that analogy because I wanted to drive a point. Pero siguro mali yung analogy na ginamit ko. It should not have been used. I read your statement also, and yeah, I agree with you. That's why kahapon, I apologize dahil sa mga nasaktan, especially to Miss Ann Curtis. But, yung putting malice in it was never the intention during the time that I made it in the context of the hearing. It was just I wanted to drive a point, an analogy that yung things which are thought of, which are left in the mind without any overt act, is not a punishable crime, and much more so, it is not an impeachable offense. But as I said earlier, yes, it was an analogy that should not have been made, and dahil it was subject to different conclusions at meron ngang naapektuhan.
Okay, so you're saying today that yes, the analogy should not have been made, right? So you are saying that now. Kumbaga, there could have been a better analogy.
Yes, there could have been a better analogy.
Okay. Now, what your statement has revealed essentially is what many women feel today is your very sexist way of thinking, given you are a representative, you are a congressman. There are higher standards expected of public officials. You didn't compliment her. You actually objectified Ann Curtis or any woman for that matter by saying, nag-init ang katawan ko at nag-imagine ka. So it became very sexual. You sexually objectified a woman in a formal hearing. Do you understand that now?
Ms. Karen, just to be precise with the statement, ang statement na binigay ko, hindi nag-init yung katawan ko. Ang sinabi ko, there was a desire in me na nag-init. na-imagine ko kung anong pwedeng mangyari, pero syempre, hanggang imagination lang yan. Pwede kaya akong kasuhan? Now, as I mentioned, it's an analogy that was should not have been made. I should have used another analogy para hindi naging subject to different interpretation. My intention during that time when I made it is that sometimes statements, when taken out of that context, could be misconstrued and conclusions could be made. The wrong conclusions, which was not intended, would be made. Ang point kasi na sana na ida-drive ko doon, kaya nga it was vague, ganito po yun. There was a desire, ang ibig ko sabihin, ang ganda-ganda niya, na-excite ako, ano yan, may crush ako sa kanya. Sa isip ko, ano kaya girlfriend ko siya? Pwede kaya akong kasuhan ng bigamy dahil may asawa ko? But as I mentioned, because it was a vague statement, it was subject to different interpretation. And yun nga, malice could have been imputed na nailagay doon. And like what I said earlier, tama kayo. I understand why why women were offended and people were offended. Kaya that analogy should not have been made.
Okay, so you admit the analogy was poor. It was a poor analogy that's already settled. Are we agreeing on that?
Yes, Miss Karen. And I
Analogy. It's a bad analogy. All right? Let's not move on to justifying
Yun nga.
the analogy. The analogy was bad. Now, moving on to the next issue, I'll read what you said in quote so I can just ask direct questions.
Sige po.
You know my desire sa loob ko na nag-init talaga at na-imagine ko na lang kung ano ang pwedeng mangyari. Alright? So, in effect, you were comparing it to Sara Duterte's wanting to kill President Marcos Jr., which we've agreed is a very bad analogy. But ang tanong ko ito, do you believe what you said essentially violated the anti-Bastos law? That sentence, do you believe, sir, paglabag ito sa batas or it is covered by the anti-Bastos law?
Karen, alam mo, as I mentioned during the time that it was made, it was yung thoughts ko, yung thought flow ko was purely walang malis akong intended doon. Kasi ang gusto ko nga gawing example was that sometimes yung thoughts, yung desires or yung imagination hindi pwedeng maging criminal act without an overt action. Like what I said, iba yung iniisip ko at the time. But ngayon nga, ang nabanggit ko rin, maybe yun nga, it was subject to different interpretation kung sino yung nagbabasa at sino yung nag-i-interpret nung particular statement. But at that time, when I made it, in that situation that it was being used as analogy for the statement made by the Vice President, ang thought wave ko was walang malis kasi yun yung gusto kong i-point na maaaring ma-misconstrue yung statement. But as I mentioned, because it was taken differently, then yun, ito yung effect. And
Okay, I understand.
I will just
You've
have to
already-
move on with it.
Yes, you've already explained that, but I wanted to ask you, do you believe? Because the difference here is it wasn't just an analogy with us an example. You literally saw Ann Curtis eh. You said, nakita ko siya sa Shangri-La. Ano ba talaga, sir? Nakita mo ba talaga
Ma'am
siya
Karen.
physically? Or
Ma'am Karen.
imagination mo lang na nakita mo siya?
Yeah. Ma'am Karen, it was a fictitious situation that I made up. You know, kaya lang ang unang
So you
pumasok
did not see Representative. Let's get
Yeah.
the facts straight.
Yes,
Let's
I didn't-
get
I
the
didn't
facts
see her.
right.
No.
Did you see or not see Ann Curtis?
I did not see her. I've never seen her in person. I've seen her on TV. Kaya lang
So-
pumasok. It was a fictitious situation that I made
Why
up.
didn't you say that even in the hearing? Why did you say, minsan nasa Shangri-La ako? I'm reading your quote, sir.
Yeah,
Minsan nasa Shangri-La ako, nakita ko si Ann Curtis. Ang ganda-ganda pala niya. You know, my desire sa loob ko na nag-init talaga. At na-imagine ko na lang kung ano ang pwedeng
Ma'am
mangyari.
Karen.
Why did you say that?
Yeah, it was a 4-hour debate and alam mo, adrenaline was high at yun yung naiisip kong pumasok sa isip ko. In fact, kaya pumasok yon because a friend of mine watched her movie which was showing, tapos pinadalan ako ng picture. Nag-iisip ako, ano bang analogy? Then nag-pop up sa...
Ba't di mo sinabing, halimbawa, kung nakita ko ang isang sikat
Yes.
na artista na tulad, bakit hindi ganon?
Then
Sinabi
it
mo
was a
at
mistake.
sapat na nakita mo.
Ma'am, it was a mistake that I made, Miss Karen, okay?
Okay. All right. So you're the only one who would know if you saw her or didn't see her. But Representative, I want to explain why that statement matters to women and girls all over. When boys do that, I saw this girl. Suddenly, I desired her. I started to imagine. This is where rape begins, unwanted sexual advances in real life. I'm not saying with you, but this is where sexual harassment begins. This is why laws had to be passed to protect women. So, it's actually surprising to many that you being a lawmaker would not understand this. Yun ang tanong ko sa'yo. I'm
Miss
not...
Karen,
Yeah.
I totally agree with you, and I don't want to
Why
argue on
don't you
this.
understand that,
no,
sir?
I do understand. That's why I said I agree with you. And I said, as I mentioned earlier, the analogy was done in poor taste. As you are correct in saying that it may trigger that kind of thoughts with other people. And you are correct. Now, kaya nga sinasabi ko, maybe I should have used another analogy which would not have been, which would not have had that effect. Tama kayo doon. That's why when lumabas na yun that analogy has been made, and that's why ang sabi ko nga po, nag-apologize ako doon sa mga taong nasaktan. That analogy should not have been made. If people would want to judge me, yung pagkatao ko based from one statement and forget everything that I've done in public service since 1998, then I cannot fault them. But if they look at my record since 1998, the principles that I stand for, the type of person that I am, then
Work today is broke.
I think
But
people
this
have a
isn't
different
about,
point of view.
Representative, this isn't fair also. This is why you're being criticized as a gaslighter. So let's not talk about your public record on other issues. I think the issue is one, it's Women's Month. People were surprised of how ignorant you could have been at that moment in time. And the irony is in 2016, you were apparently a part of a city council that approved the Bawal Bastos ordinance in Quezon City. Tama, no? You were
Yes, it's true. I was the
serving
majority
as
leader.
floor leader. So kumbaga, ang expectation ng tao, sir, alam nyo. Yun lang naman yun alam nyo ba? And that's why I wanted to interview you, because I wanted to understand, because many men are possibly like you. Do you understand that what you said was sexual objectification? Yun lang, sir. It's a yes or no today. Even if you did not mean it, do you understand now that it was sexual objectification?
Yes, Miss Karen.
You do.
In the context of this situation, yes, I do.
You now do. Okay. Now that you do, you understand sexual objectification is a part of the anti-bastos law. Naiintindihan nyo na rin po ba na ang pananaw ng ilan, hindi nyo naintindihan ang batas? Pasensya na po kayo sa tanong na yon. Pero do you...
Miss Karen, naiintindihan ko yung batas. As I mentioned, when the analogy was made doon, yung iniisip ko was a different scenario, which is far different from yung naging understanding or conclusion ng mga tao. On the context nung pagkaintindi at dating sa mga tao, yes, naiintindihan ko na it may it's part of that anti-bastos law.
Yeah. And Representative, because I don't mean to be political at this point, we're coming from the heels of a former administration, a former president that made light of rape jokes, right? That made a lot of jokes about women. And we've seen it through the decades of women, if they were raped, enjoy being raped. There were public officials who actually said that. So when it comes to public officials, people expect more. So ang tanong ko na ito na lang, is there a better, sincere apology? Because one, the mother of Ann Curtis herself, so this is more of the, yung may nasaktan at hindi nasaktan, nagalit, called you're a sick man and you are foul. The sister of Ann Curtis has told you to keep silent because everything it seems that you're saying it seems insincere. You have Mayor Joy Belmonte urging you to apologize too. You have women celebrities and social media already, criticizing your very person. You have daughters and you have a wife. Do you actually feel the need to sincerely just apologize without a but?
As I mentioned, and a lot of times, I've said it, I want to apologize to Miss Ann Curtis, all the women out there who got offended by the statement that I made.
Okay, what about an apology regarding that's befitting your office? You know, you are a sitting congressman. I mean, you're not a private person. You are, you know what I mean?
What apology do you want? In fact, during, I posted sa aking page an apology also. Not just on your show.
Okay, all right. So you've already said your apology. So I'm curious, what did your wife say to you? I mean, this is just, I'm just curious. And when you got home and this got big, what did your wife tell you?
Well, of course, kagaya din sinabi mo in reaction ng mga tao. Of course, she asked me ba't ko sinabi yun, and that it could be taken in a different context, and ang dating sa iba ay maaaring maging bastos. That's why it also, so ganun yung situation, and I explained to her, and then kagaya nyo, sinabi, well, whether ganun yung iniisip mo, it was wrong.
Sinabi ng wife mo. Okay, so your wife said that it was wrong.
Yes, kasi nga, Ms. Karen, it could be subject to various interpretation. Ganon din yung sinabi ko, but that was not my, hindi yun yung iniisip ko. But sabi niya, yes, maaaring hindi yun yung iniisip mo, but at this time, ganyan yung maaaring isipin ng ibang tao.
Okay, what about your daughters? I mean, your daughters being much younger, younger people today are more conscious and aware. In fact, hyper aware of gender equality, as anti-sexual harassment remarks. I'm just curious if your
Ms. Karen, my daughters, actually they called me to see how I was. They were more concerned sa akin. That's it.
That's it. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. But were you able to talk to your family about this? I mean,
Yes. Yes, I spoke with everyone.
So
And,
did you tell your daughters, anak, if somebody in school said, "Oy, nakita kita, ini-imagine kita, nagliliyab ang
Ms. Karen,
what would you tell your daughters?
Hindi na kami dumating doon, alam mo, ang pag-uusap namin ng anak ko, my daughter, my eldest daughter called me up to ask, Dad, how are you? Because she's not studying here. she's studying abroad. How are you? Sabi niya, you'll get over this. Sabi niya, are you okay? If you need someone to talk to, you talk to me. Then I explained, sabi ko, kung ano yung it was taken out of context. Sabi ng daughter ko, Dad, I fully understand that it was taken out of context. I know the kind of person that you are. Yeah,
Okay.
that's it.
All right. Now, you have some legislators wanting to lodge an ethics complaint
Yeah.
against you. So, Representative, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah. In fact, I gave a manifestation last night and sabi ko, I respect their actions. If they want to file an ethics complaint, if they want to judge me, the person that I am, based from one particular statement, I respect it. And sabi ko lang, sana, ganon din sila kabilis mag-file ng ethics complaints ng members ng Congress who are accused not only of making a statement but who are accused of having an overt act towards a real person who are being accused of graft and corruption. Kasi the sad thing is, it just goes to show, the situation that we're in and the mindset of the Filipinos. Dami-dami natin problema. Gas prices are shooting up. In fact, kahapon, the increase would be 20 pesos. Yung flood control issue, mag-iisang taon na. Practically, no one has been charged. No one is in jail. The economy is down. Direct foreign investment is practically non-existent. Tourism arrival is low. But we are all concerned dun sa statement na nabigay ko. It overshadowed the actual situation that we're in. Well, like I mentioned, I regret making that analogy. It was wrong. But, now I hope Filipino people now look at the real situation and the real work that has to be done to improve the current situation ng Pilipinas. We need better legislation. We need to put our acts together. Give accountability also to people who has stolen from government.
Okay, well, definitely, I agree with you on that. So I'll ask you last two questions because it's getting 8:30 already. But you were the only one, essentially, who voted against the sufficiency in substance on the vice president's impeachment complaints. Right? It was it 54 versus 1?
Yes,
Tama po ba?
54-1.
At nag-iisa po kayo, no? Nag-iisa po kayo. I'm curious, it's clear that one, you were defending the vice president. That's why you're here. That's why it led to this. But did you just blindly not vote for it? It seems that many of your colleagues felt that the recital of facts were sufficient enough to take it to the floor.
Now, Ms. Karen, if there was also the first an impeachment complaint filed against the president, and in fact, I was one of those who voted that it was insufficient in substance. Itong second impeachment complaint, if you watch yung arguments ko dun sa impeachment complaint against the president, it was basically the same arguments, same observations that I made. It was not sufficient in substance.
Mas Boulevard, same thing. Parang nag-ambala pa sila. Bakit tayo nagbabike lanes ulit? Parang hindi nila nakikita yung lane.
Tsaka hindi nga conscious yung mga driver sa tingin.
Hindi sila masanay. Kasi rin, sometimes kinakain lang ng bike lane but they don't arrange the rest of it for the cars. So basically, sana one whole lane na lang, nagkukunwari pa tayo, tapos 1.5 lanes for the other cars. It's confusing talaga.
Totoo.
So, but sinasabi rin ni, na one of the suggestions was no unnecessary travels for government. And carpooling.
Yeah.
Well, hindi ba dapat naman talaga no unnecessary? Meron bang unnecessary travels on a good year in government? Seriously, di ba lahat niyan, they're subject to COA audit, all of the disbursements, all of the spending, and yes, all of the trips have to be audited and they have to be necessary.
Ako dapat na-impact na yung mga meetings that can be reduced to either a Zoom call
Or an email.
or an email.
No.
Actually,
That
yun
should
naman
have
yun.
been pinaka-hate ko sa yun. There should have been an email. Ano yun? So, tapos si DOE Chief, si Sec Janet Garin, will be closely monitoring compliance with submission of monthly consumption reports, energy audits, and random patterns. Sorry, did I say Janet? I apologize. Because, but we all know why. Okay, so it's Secretary Sharon Garin. Pero, allergic na ako dito sa word na we will be monitoring. Because actually, it's a way of saying that we're not doing anything, but we have to use a word. So let's use the word monitor.
Parang maling.
Ayan, we're thinking of issuing.
I'm looking forward to the actual announcement, di ba? Soon. Kasi yun yung may
They
epekto
just be making an actual announcement instead of announcing that they're thinking of doing something. In fact, yung announcement that we are monitoring, hindi ba talaga dapat mag-monitor kayo? Seriously, is this something new? Pati yung energy, well, I'm very happy with the carpooling. Okay yan.
Saka yung 10% supposedly across the board reduction. That's a good start.
Are they saying that they'll be subsidizing? Wala pa namang announcement on
Wala pa.
subsidies.
Kagabi si Sen Frank nung interview namin, suggested that yung 4.5 billion confidential funds pwedeng gamitin to actually
Sino
subsidize. Sen Frank din doon.
It's a good thing he's not in government. Otherwise, he'll be getting calls. Yeah, I agree with those measures. But I'm worried na parang ang konti nitong measures na to. I don't see programs. Plus, hindi ko naririnig yung fast tracking ng mga renewables.
Well, yeah. Pero renewables kasi medyo at this point hindi na makaka-respond to the emergency. Dapat dati sinimulan.
Yun na nga. It should have been like years ago.
Dapat nilang binibilisan ngayon yung amendments to yung sa excise.
Excise taxes.
To empower a temporary suspension.
To allow flexibility
Yes.
for the president to be able to set the rates pag ganitong emergency measure.
Dapat yun nga yung na-prioritize ngayon. Kasi pending na to.
Some of the feedback that we've been getting is that nauuna tayo dun sa fuel price increase. In other countries, hindi pa sila nagtataas. So that tells us a lot of things. One is that the reason tumataas yan is anticipation.
Yeah.
There's no actual, we're still at the, 30 to 50 days buffer stock ng fuel, and this fuel was bought at lower rates. Pero because we have, what's that we do? We have, di ba, we charge excise taxes.
Yeah.
Nag-iimbak rin tayo for and then on certain times, nasa-subsidize dapat siya. Di ba
Dapat.
that's what we're supposed to be doing? But nobody's explaining that.
Okay, so for our next noted by the spokes, a recent meeting between SILG John Vic Remulla and Senator Pam Aquino has ignited talk of possible 2028 tandem.
So, interviewin kita. What do you think? Is this real?
Tingin ko,
This is a test balloon.
tingin ko, any meeting between any two high-profile politicians or officials, hindi mo maiiwasan yung speculation. Pero ito nga, that said, alam naman nila yun eh. So tingin ko, yung meeting itself and yung fact na nag-release ng mga photos of the meeting, intended din yan to
Test balloon.
create conversation. Alam naman natin how it works.
It's Attorney Barry's way of saying, yes, it's a test balloon, but I can't say the word. Pero, in fairness kay Senator Bam, he doesn't say anything. He has never said that, I'm available, wala siyang ganyan, wala siyang, I'm thinking about it, pero nababanggit yung pangalan niya.
It has been mentioned as possible
Running mate,
tandem ng several people. From VP Sara, ito John Vic Remulla, VP Lenny, of course, Senator Risa.
So what do you think of a Lenny-Bam tandem?
Ako tingin ko, speaking as a person who was part of that particular block, kailangang mag-expand. So, ang problema siya, while
Parehong Luzon kasi.
while parehong Luzon, parehong klarong-klaro yung political affiliation.
Oo, correct. Tsaka baka same followers, same voting base,
Exactly.
hindi siya
Diba?
mag-expand.
Election, siyempre, addition eh. So, ideally, you would want a partner that augments yung iyong mga strengths.
Lenny John Vic or John Vic Lenny. Because former Vice President Lenny can still run for Vice President. diba?
Yes, pero she's, the fact that she has said na hindi siya interesado mag-presidente, parang feeling ko, mas lalong hindi na interesado mag-vice president. Lahat naman posible, di ba?
How is she doing as mayor, by the way?
I think that she's doing an excellent job. Kasi yun naman talaga yung kanya,
Nadalaw mo na?
napuntahan ko na siya. Pero ang ano ko dyan, tingin ko, she really likes yung working closely with yung constituents. Even when we were in OVP, talaga yung kanya.
Oo. Tsaka yung pag-mayor hands-on eh.
Exactly.
Meanwhile, si Sec John Vic has not ruled out a run for president.
Mukhang madami sa kanila hindi nag-rule out.
But tsaka siya nag-announce siya. But he's also, kumbaga, nag-iintay din siya ng endorsement from the president.
Totoo naman. Diba? Malayo pa. Naku, madami pa mangyayari dyan.
About 796 days before the next elections.
Okay. So, these are the headlines noted by the folks today. Meanwhile, another man of the hour House representative who had a heated discussion in Congress and whose mic was turned off will join our discussion live here at BNC Studio when the spokes returns after this short break.
And the spokes is back. He had a heated discussion with Representative Janet Garin in Congress yesterday regarding his position as Deputy Minority Leader. Our comebacking guest. Good morning, Kong.
Morning.
Morning, Kong Egay.
How are you?
Congressman Erice, how are you
Okay naman.
since last night?
Nakatulog naman ako maayos.
Nalaya. Ano ba sleeping the sleep of the just?
Yeah, I was about to say, diba? So what happened here? You gave an excellent speech, by the way.
Thank you.
It really resonated on all political sides. I'm not saying that that it really does. So your points about political dynasties, well taken, and the drift of Congress lately. So you ended up disclosing that as Deputy Minority Leader with the blessings of the House Leader.
Yes.
Ayan, so you become. How does this work?
Well, I think it began during the time of, in fairness, not this administration, but during the last administration.
Okay.
Natatandaan ko noon na,
Who is the House Speaker?
well, I think it's, Alvarez, yeah, Congressman Alvarez, Speaker Alvarez.
All right.
In fact, talagang, they're trying to recruit all members to be part of the PDP. At pagka hindi ka nag-PDP, ay medyo matatanggalan ka ng pondo. At isa ako doon sa mga natanggalan ng pondo.
What about chairmanship?
I was the first one who spoke against the war on drugs. Pero ako naman, lagi naman ako, pag magsasalita ako, may alternative ako pinopropose.
Alright.
So, hindi naman yung hard-hitting. May proposal ako. Bibigay ako ng mga examples of countries na gumawa niyan pero hindi naging successful.
So meron bang, so here what we're talking about who becomes minority. Who says who is in the minority? Kasi hindi parating this confuses me all the time. Which party gets to be the minority?
Well,
is it
before
by
kasi,
numbers?
Before kasi yung sa elections ng speaker,
Yes.
kung sino yung matatalo, yung farther minority, yun yung magiging minority leader. Pero binago nila kasi nung naging super majority na kasi, yan yung masama sa tingin ko sa super majority. So gagawin nila, magpapahiram. For example, in our case now, there are 19 members of the party list and only at least 9 lang yung regular district representatives. So pag ang magiging kagawian, pagka may tumakbo na speaker na hindi nila personada na maging minority leader, so mag-i-election ulit. Pero ipapak na nila ng mga party list, mga ibang mga district representatives na actually na allied sa administration. Ganyan yung nangyayari. Not only now, to be fair, but noong mga nakaraang.
So these are like quote-unquote minority. Kasi they still are able to work with the majority. Ganon din ba nung kayo, Attorney Ba?
Nung kami, naalala ko, magkasama tayo. Ang naging minority leader, si Ronnie Zamora, siya yung nakakuha ng pinakamataas na boto after si Speaker Belmonte. Automatically.
So that's how the minority was determined.
Presidente Pinoy, walang ganon. Pero, pagkatapos noon, ganon na yung nangyayari. They would want to control not only the majority party but also the minority.
Naalala ko nga nung panahon ni Speaker Alvarez, iba naging issue pa yan. Kasi tumakbo si Teddy Baguila, ran for speaker.
Yes.
And he got the second highest number of votes sa floor. But he was not automatically
The minority. So who was the minority then?
And also, medyo tanda na tayo. And also, Edsel Lagman. Tatandaan ko, he's supposed to be the minority leader. Actually, we questioned it before the Supreme Court. Dahil lang nangyari, yung naging minority leader part of the administration. Kami, natalo naman kami sa Supreme Court, ayaw makialam sa internal affairs ng House. So, ang nangyari, kami naging independent. Ang tawag sa amin ng Magnificent Seven. Dahil independent lang.
So you
So
were...
we provided the checks and balance.
So, and that's the important part. Merong nagsasalita ng ganon.
Yes.
You were recommended daw by this is based on last night,
Yes.
by former Representative, was it Paul Dasa?
Yes.
In the 19th Congress.
Yes. Of the 19th Congress.
Yes.
Paul. So sabi niya sa akin, guy, malapit kasi ang puso ko sa liberal, sana ba? Mas maganda kung ikaw yung magiging senior deputy minority leader ng House. And also, the father, old liberal.
Kong Raul.
So, sabi ko, sige, but you have to talk to Speaker Romualdez. So, una, kinausap namin si Minority Leader Libanan. So, okay naman sa kanya dahil magkaibigan niya si Raul Dasa saka si Nonoy Libanan. So, punta na ako kay Speaker. So, nag-usap sila,
So this was Speaker Martin. Alright.
Then, I was, designated as the SMD, Senior Deputy Minority Leader.
And then again in the 20th.
In the 20th.
Ito lahat yan, 20th Congress na yun.
So, ganun yun nangyari. So, kailangan may blessing. Ako naman kasi, gusto ko talaga mag-provide ng check and balance. Pero yung malumanay lang sa mga legislations, pero nung nakita ko yung nangyari dun sa tatlong nakaraang national budget, parang di kaya ng dibdib ko na hindi magsalita.
So, but going back, so that's how in your party, within the party, mag-uusap kayo kung sino yung magiging, or is it the head of the party?
Designated na kagad.
Dinidesignate na kagad. So,
Butuhan pa ba yun?
Hindi na. Butuhan. Yung ngayon, pumalit sa akin, wala namang butuhan. Basta dinesignate na lang si
Congresswoman Laila de Lima. So, ano nangyari? Bakit kayo pinatayan ng Mike? It's the question on everybody's mind. Sorry.
Oo nga. Hindi yung question. What led to that point?
Hindi kasi gusto niya mag-interpolate. Ngayon, nung sumasagot ako ina-explain ko sa kanya yung nangyari doon kay Majority Leader Sandro Marcos, ayaw niya na akong sagutin. So, naglitaan niya na siya. Ang tagal-tagal, siya lang yung mag-interpolate. Wala na akong chance to answer. So, nung sumasagot ako, pinatayan ako ng mic.
She was asking, kasi if I remember correctly, what she was asking was, how was the minority designated? Parang meron siyang, pinupuntir niya na gano'n.
Alam niya naman sa, ang tagal-tagal niya ng Congress. Congresswoman, alam niya yun. Ako, yung sinasabi ko, totoo. Totoo yun. At alam niya yung sinasabi ko, totoo. Gusto niya lang palabasin na hindi nakikialam ang majority sa minority. Pero hindi lang naman ngayon, maski nung mga nakaraan. Ang tagal-tagal niya na. Simple lang, di magsabi lang ng totoo. At baguhin yung sistema. Kaya yan nga, kaya ako, hindi naman ako nagrereklamo. Sabi ko nga, maluwag ang loob ko na isalin kay mas magaling na sa akin yun. Mas makakapagbigay pa ng magaling na checks and balance. Pero dapat matigil na yung ganyang sistema.
Na kunwari lang may minority.
Kunwari lang may minority. Para naman sa ganon, ay ito naman, yung critics ka sa mga private corporations, di ba binabayaran para makita yung mali?
Independent director.
Binabayaran. So, tuwing wala ka na, titingnan mo na lang. Kung mali, yung sinasabi, bayaan mo magsalita. Di, gawin mo pa rin yung, total, majority ka naman, kahit magsalita kami ng 3 taon doon. Wala namang mangyayari. Parang yung minority, give them the time to speak.
Do you think they were reacting to the fact that you actually mentioned the name of Congressman Sandro Marcos? Parang he who must not be named ba yan?
Palagay ko, yun yung, palagay ko, kaya siya bumaba siya nagpe-preside, bumaba siya. Ganon din naman one time when I was criticizing President Marcos, ganun din, bumaba din siya, nagdebate din kami. At, dapat sumapa kasi lalong naging clear yung aking explanation. Ang ganun din.
Hindi ba ganun naman talaga yung point ng interpellation? Lumiliwanag yung
Lumiliwanag.
Pinatawag nga mo kayo,
Yes.
Sa office?
Sa office. Actually, nagsasalita pa ako, nandun na sa tabi ko si Minority Leader Libanan. May CCTV naman yun, makikita, may date. So, tinawag niya ako, binulungan niya ako na pagkatapos ko magsalita, punta kami sa office ni Majority Leader Sandro Marcos. So, pagkatapos ko, sinamahan, magkasabay kami. Pumunta kami sa office ni Congressman Marcos. At pagdating ko doon, andun pa nga si Congressman Ridon, sabi ni Congressman Marcos na please clear the room. Kaya lumabas si
Kong Terry.
Naiwan kaming apat. Nakatayo siya, nakaganon siya, tapos tatlo kaming nakaupo. Kaya niloloko nga kasi nung minsan nag-speech ako sa minority caucus, sabi ko, nagpapasalamat ako kay minority leader Nonoy Libanan dahil sinamahan niya ako sa principal's office.
See the dean. Okay. So, what did he say?
Nga, ano yun? Sabi niya. Ano yun, kako, yung speech ko? Bata pa ako, yun na yung aking, yung aking advocacy.
Okay.
Political.
Ito yung anti-dynasty.
Kasi may kasama part. Lagi naman pag nag-speech ako, lagi may kasama yun. Sinasabi ko naman, tingin ko yung corruption, massive corruption. Ang dahilan yan ay yung pataba ng mga political dynasty sa ating bansa. So laging yun ang aking advocacy. That's my advocacy 40 years ago. 40 years ago, when I was just 20 years old, fighting for political dynasties in Caloocan.
Okay. So, and then so ang tinanong lang niya is, ano yun? So, and then you asked him, ano yun yung speech?
Ang sabi niya, hindi yun dynasty. Ina-atake mo
yung father niya.
President.
He actually said that.
Yes. So, sabi ko, kung malalim mag-isip, hindi yan atake. Tulong yan.
What did he say?
Sabi niya, hindi, yung mga congressman na nasa labas, lahat sinabi, ina-atake mo eh. Sabi ko sa kanya, yung mga congressman na nasa labas, lahat yan, sip-sip sa'yo.
Yeah, this is fascinating.
Tapos siya kusama pagkatapos mo.
Hindi, sinabi ko nga, ito yung speech ko. Kung may kasinungalingan dyan, kung may hindi totoo dyan, magpa-public apology ako sa'yo.
So what was it about? What was in your speech again about the president?
2023, 2024, and 2025 national budget. I was asking the president, why did he allow
he signed on with
Hindi,
the...
why did he allow? For 3 years. Kasi kung 1 year, baka napalusutan lang siya. Pero kung 3 years, may kabinete siya, ba't hindi sila kumibo? Ba't tumahimik sila na sinalaula yung national budget? It's the first time that it happened in the history. It's unprecedented. Oh. So, tinatanong ko yung presidente, bakit po pinayagan? Kasi, para sa akin, hindi ako makapaniwala na hindi niya alam. So, it's just a question of complicity or a question of competence.
What? So, since your mic was turned off, ano yung sasabihin niyo dapat?
Hindi, naingipagpatuloy ka naman. So, diniscuss ko. Diniscuss ko naman. Wala naman.
You were able to do that. So, late na pala yung pagpatay ng mic sa inyo. So, do you think that Congresswoman Janet Karin was being unfair with your accusation against the majority? So parang inaano siya because it really felt like the interpellation was like calling you to task.
Maybe if it's my duty to fiscalize, baka it's its duty to defend the administration. So, I respect that.
Dito sa anti-dynasty pinagsimulan nito, kung di ba, ito yung latest na ano ba tingin yung mali doon sa version na lumalabas sa House?
Actually, it's not an anti-political dynasty bill. It's a hoax. At mas magiging malala ang dynasties kung makakapos na to. Kasi
How? Ano yung nakalagay
yung nakalagay doon, pwede one national position. Ang national position, President, Vice President, saka Senators.
Okay.
Tapos, one congressman per district. Ibig sabihin, kung tatlong district.
Iba-ibang distrito, iba-ibang unit yun.
Oo, iba-ibang unit yun. So, tatlong magkakapatid, pwede pa rin congressman.
Iba-ibang distrito.
Oo, so,
Kung may party list,
wala rin. Hindi
pwede pa.
pa yun. Hindi naka-specify yun. Pangatlo, isang governor.
okay.
Tapos,
Per province, iba pa yun.
hindi, per province, isa. Tapos, hindi, isa lang naman ang governor. Pero kung 7 yung cities, for example, Cebu, 7 cities, so pwede magkakapatid 7 mayor.
How the one mayor?
The governor.
Pwedeng mayor.
Congressman pa. Tapos,
Per city.
kung 20 yung munisipyo, 20 mayor, pwede pa rin magkakamag-anak. At kung 100 yung barangay, 100 barangay captain, pwede magkakamag-anak.
Parang lumala.
Hindi.
Ngayon, we just make nice
Hindi pa
remarks
gano'n.
about
Kasi
it.
mas marami. Kaya nga ako, sa akin okay lang isa eh. Okay, isa lang sa bawat pamilya. Pero, just to accommodate yung existing system, ang aking bill, dalawa. One national and one local. Tapos,
Makes sense.
just to accommodate. Pero ako wala. I'm the first politician na may family and I will be the last. I'm selfish with my family. Ayoko na silang danasin nila yung dinanas kong hirap. So, yun yung kaya sabi ko, ano to, it's actually pro-dynasty, institutionalizing dynasties. And it will be against Section 26, Article 2 of the Constitution.
Ano ba bang status nung
Pinasanan nila eh.
sa committee?
Oo, ni railroad eh.
Meron pa bang chance yan?
Sa plenary na lang. Plenary na lang.
Does the Senate have their own version?
Yes, at malayo. Kaya nga ako, spreads ako dyan, kaya ipinasayan para magkaroon na, pag sa BICAM, hindi na magkasundo, hindi na may pas.
Yung sa Senate version kasi, bawal, di ba? National and local.
Saka walang succession, mabigat yun. So, sa tingin ko, ginawa ito para magkaroon ng deadlock sa BICAM at hindi na maipasa itong anti-political dynasty.
Pero kala ko ba priority ito ng administrasyon?
Kaya nga
In-announce pa nga nila.
sabi ko, alam ni Presidente ang ibig sabihin ng political dynasty. Why? Because the first law enacted with a political dynasty provision is the SK reform. I'm the author in the House. The President is the author in the
Senate.
Kaya alam niya yan. At bakit niya prioritize kung hindi niya i-guide yung kanyang mga alay, super majority? Di ba? Ba't hindi niya i-guide?
Were you still expecting this kind of guidance? Because no, I'm not being facetious.
Kasi prioritize niya. If you prioritize this particular bill, you should work for the enactment of this bill. Parang yung ICI, Independent Commission, People's Commission Against Infrastructure Corruption. Prioritize niya. Sinabi nila, ipapasalan nila December. Nagmadali kami, nag-overtime kami. Pagkatapos, binitin sa Committee on Appropriation. So, hindi talaga sincere. Nagsasalita yung presidente na he doesn't mean what he says. Sabi niya, magpapakulong siya December 15. March na ngayon. So, yun
Wala
ang
pa rin,
problema.
Si
Yan ang
Senator
problema.
Villar.
Paano hindi lalakas yung kanyang kalaban kung siya mismo hindi tumutupad sa kanyang sinasabi?
Were you expecting to be removed? Ini-expect niyo ba na matatanggal kayo? Or did this come as
Yes, hindi, alam ko.
Alam
Yung best
mo
na
yun.
sinasabi sa akin ni yung sabi niya, tinatawagan ako, sabi ko, okay lang. Okay lang.
Who was behind it?
The leadership of the House. The leadership of the House. But I don't think it's, Speaker D. Kasi si Speaker D, very passive, very accommodating, napakabait. Matagal ko na rin kasama yan. Kilala ko yung ugali niya.
So who's next in the leadership mamaya na yun? After being removed as Senior Deputy Minority Leader, is there any truth to the offer of you running for the Senate under the slate of VP Sara by Sagip Party List? Before you answer this. So we'll be back after this short break. You mean,
I mean,
regardless of the slate, sir, you will
regardless of the
consider-
slate, I will be staying as representative of 2nd District of Caloocan. Kung mananalo po uli ako sa 2028, I'll be running again for
for Congress.
And that may be my, baka yan na yung huli. Na ako, 65 na ako.
Bata pa yun.
Ano kung mas mataas? Kasi yung isang nabasa kong article na sinabi din Congressman Marcoleta, VP daw.
Ay, please, know thyself. Know thyself. Kaya tayo may problema sa Pilipinas. Marami yung tumatakbo na hindi nila kilala yung sarili nila.
Okay.
Pero sobra naman ko veteranong legislator
There are many factors. Saka siguro, ano naman ako, masaya naman ako sa Congress.
Pero pagtakbo niyo ulit, healthy pa rin.
Yes, of course. Unless, pagkawali sa kay Presidente Marcos, sa partido ni Presidente Marcos, baka mag-independent na lang ako. Kasi, naranasan ko yung yung martial law, yung kanyang ama. Parang, ganito rin yung aking pakiramdam ngayon. We are not in a democracy.
It feels like that to you? May parang pre-martial law fears or martial law is fears?
Nung nakaraan kasi, dictatorship.
Yeah.
Ngayon, what's prevailing government is not democracy, but kleptocracy. So I won't be part of it.
Then, fighting words. So, explain lang natin kung ano yung kleptocracy.
Yung kleptocracy.
For Attorney Barry's sake.
Alam niya, sila mag-explain.
Yes, Attorney Barry.
Ang alam ko lang, aristocracy.
It gets getting worse. Si Senator Frank, nandito siya nung Monday yata, sabi niya, open siya to a coalition. So, what do you think?
Kanya-kanya naman ang opinion. Pero, ang isa pang guidance ko, kung nabubuhay sa Pinoy, matutuwa ba siya magagalit sa mga desisyon ko? Yun yung aking batayan. Dahil naniniwala ko na siya yung pinakamalinis na naging pangulo ng ating bansa. So, sa tingin ko, sa mga ginagawa ko ngayon, lakangiti sa langit. Medyo nagiging pa ako.
Yung, sa tingin niyo yung nangyayari ngayon, pumuposisyon ba yung party ninyo ni Attorney Barry? Hindi nga pala, hindi pala. Friends of, okay. So, but, how is the LP positioning itself? Do you consider yourself still, the LP, the party, is it still opposition, quote-unquote na yan, ha? Kasi, there are some who are saying na aside from you, wala namang nag-o-oppose eh.
Hindi, meron din naman.
Meron din. For
Meron din
example,
naman. Si Congresswoman Laila de Lima nag-oppose naman.
sa administration.
Sa mga issue-based,
issue.
ako lang yung talagang medyo direkta.
Kasi you name names.
Oo, I name names. Pero, nagkakasundo naman. Meeting kami, actually, sa anti-political dynasty, nag-withdraw kami lahat nung pinasal nila.
Yes.
Nag-withdraw kami lahat. So, may mga issues na pinagkakaisahan kami. Sa kayo liberal, talagang ganyan. Very liberal sa bawat isa.
So, itong anti-dynasty, is this part of a larger political alignment? Is this strategic on the part of your party? O alam natin na ikaw, ever since, consistent ka dito sa political dynasty issue. The LP has taken it up. Is this going to be part of a bigger campaign? Is this
I
part
think
of
so. I
alignment?
think so. Actually, we're talking of going to the streets against the approved version of the House. It's a hoax. So, at alam ko, maraming kabataan na gusto magmarcha papunta sa Kongreso para tutulan yung version na ito. In fact, I was invited, after this, diretso na ako sa Centro Escolar University at invited ako nung estudyante doon to speak about the anti-political dynasty law.
Tingin ba nyo kung realistically, kaya pang bang pasa sa Congress na ito ng mas malakas na version? Yung hindi naman ganyang
Kaya pa ba
kadaming butas.
Kung walang clear direction ang presidente, wala. Hindi makakasa to.
Why did
Kasi-
he bother to endorse it?
Kasi siniling ng simbahan, hiniling nung nagkaroon ng trillion peso march. Natakot si presidente. So, parang nanliligaw. O nangako. Ayun pala, hindi naman kayang tuparin yung kanyang pangako.
May face value naman na he said he endorsed it. Hindi nga lang, he didn't put in the work. So you think it's deliberate na hindi niya talaga ginaguide, he's not using any political capital here?
Natatakot din siya sa mga allies niya. At this point in time. So, parang baka yung mga naiingat lang siya baka naman biglang mag-withdraw ng support sa akin yung mga political dynasties. It takes political will. Pero, ang problema, nangako siya sa simbahan, nangako siya sa civil society, nangako siya sa bayan. Kailangan maipasa na itong anti-political dynasty law. So, mamimili siya ng kung tutuparin niya sa kanyang pinangako sa bayan o kakalingain niya yung mga political dynasties na allies niya.
So, kayo kung pipiliin, you'd rather wala nilang batas kaysa dito sa watered down version?
Huwag na lang. Huwag na lang. Kasi kung dalawa ka lang ngayon, pagka pinasa to, sabi na, tatlo na. Legal na pala kahit 10 di 3 na o 4 na ipapatakbuhin ko.
May mga nagsasabi kasi baka mas mabuti na makapasa ng bill tapos i-amend na lang later on basta maipasa na. It's easier to whittle down an existing bill.
Yes, yun yung version ko naman. Yun ang it's a product of a persistent, principled compromise.
Ano yung version ninyo? What's the
One
difference?
national position, one local, second degree of consanguinity, yung household, immediate household, yung hanggang kapatid.
Okay.
At may succession. May succession.
Okay.
So, yun yung version na pagka nakapasa yun, yung mawawala na yung fat dynasties. Sigurado ako wala na yung fat dynasties. Yun ang, kumbaga sa problema, inalis mo muna yung mas malaking problema, yung fat dynasties. Meron pa rin konti, pero siguro mga 60-70% ng dynasties madidiminish. Kung yung kasi ito yung kauna-unang batas proposal na nakapasa sa Suffrage Committee noong 2013 nung panahon ng Pinoy. Tapos nakapag-debate sa plenary. Kaya lang pag sa plenary talagang malakas talaga yung impluwensya ng mga political family, so na-archive. Na-archive. Pero this is ito yung product na ito. Itong produkto. Nirefile ko lang ito.
So ito, kumaga, product of compromise na yan.
Product of compromise na. Dadagdagan mo pa yan kasi may dalawang parameters as specified by the framers of the 1987 Constitution. One is to provide equal access and opportunities to ordinary citizens for public service. Second is to prevent the monopoly of power. Yung ipapasa nila, hindi makakapasa dun sa dalawang parameters na yun. So, kung tapasan nila yan, agree dyan ng Senate, I will go to the Supreme Court. I will question that. It's unconstitutional.
Kailangan na i-put on the spot ng konti. Anong comment nyo doon sa sinabi ni Yusek Claire Castro? Kung meron daw kayo yung version, hindi trabahuhin na lang daw niyo.
Bakit prioritize ni Presidente kung hindi niya tatrabahuin? Ito naman si, taga-Caloocan din niya, kaya kilala ko din yan.
Constituent niyo pala?
Bahay ko pa nga dati.
Ay,
Diba? So, bakit nga? Prioritize ni Presidente, bakit akong utusan mong trabahuhin? Ako nagtrabaho na ako eh. Actually, 40 taong ko lang tinatrabaho to eh.
basically, parang ni-request nga ni Pangulo yan to get started on that.
Kasi ang parang inaatake yung messenger eh. Pero yung message, dapat sagutin yung message. Di sabihin na lang ni Presidente, hindi ko kaya. Di sabihin mo na lang. Hindi na maasa yung hindi maasa yung mga mamamayan, yung civil society, yung mga kabataan na may papahirap. Kasi nagpunta pa kami sa Cebu. Buong buo yung mga kabataan sa Cebu na anti at maliwanag sa kanila. Mas mahigpit pa nga sila doon sa version ko. Mas mahigpit sila. Yung buong 100%, not one individual go against the anti-political dynasty view. So, bakit pa kami nagpunta ron? Ba't pa namin paasahin yung mga taong bayan na seryoso ang gobyerno na ipasa ito, yung pala ay hindi.
Sa tingin niyo, sincere si Presidente?
Abay, sabi ko nga mukhang bola yung ICI, bola yung pakulong. Ngayon, bola na naman to. Di bola-bola. Marcos, bola-bola. Di ba? Kaya yung BBM, hindi na yan Bongbong Marcos. Bola-bola, Marcos.
Kaya, every time I ask Kong Elisa a question, I get so much more. Than just a simple answer. Ang dami.
First, hindi mag-soundbite eh. Ganyan, ako naman.
Itong next part na to, tough questions. Okay. Kung offeran kayo ng House leadership position, pero ang kapalit, you tone down on your criticism, will you take it?
Well, alam mo, may kumausap sa akin yung isang secretary, cabinet member. Sabi sa akin, Egay, ang tingin ng Malacanang, Sara Duterte ka. Sabi ko, ako yung kauna-unang nagsalita against war on drugs eh. Hindi ko naman nilalabanan yung Marcos dynasty, pati Duterte dynasty, nilalabanan ko eh. Kung kukulayan nyo ako, isa lang kulay ko, dilaw. Isa lang ang kulay ko, dilaw. Sabi ko sa kanya. Sabi niya, hindi, yung mga salita mo, nagpapalakas kay Sara. Ang sabi ko, mali yan. Hindi ako nagpapalakas kay Sara. Yung mga kapalpakan nyo, yun na nagpapalakas kay Sara. Bakit kayo makangako kung hindi nyo naman kaya? Bakit bumabagsak ng ekonomiya? Kayo na mamahala. Alam ka namang i-criticize ko sa Sara, hindi naman siya namamahala ng bansa. Pumapalpak yung bansa, hindi sino dapat i-criticize kayo. Kayo yung gobyerno ngayon. Kayo yung namamahala ng gobyerno ngayon.
Ito, next question. Sabi mo na kanina, hindi ka in favor of a possible Liberal Party Marcos Alliance. Paano kung galing naman yung offer sa kampo ni VP Sara? Would you be open to? Sara Duterte Liberal Party Alliance.
Well, parang imposible din yun eh. Di ba? Pinakulong si Congresswoman Laila for 6 years. Di ba? I would rather go independent than be part of both. Di ba?
Who would be a winnable tandem for you, for the Liberal Party?
Sa akin, gusto ko. Ang pinaka sa akin yung honest opinion ko ba, marami nagagalit sa akin, pati yung mga kampi ko eh. Para sa akin, noong nakaraan, hindi ko sinuportahan si Lenny. Kasi, late na siya Pero nagpaalam ako, sabi ko, pag hindi nag-declare si Vice President Lenin on September 15, because I'm running for mayor, I have to have a presidential candidate. So sabi ko, pag September 15 hindi siya nag-declare, kaibigan ko naman si Isko, naniniwala naman ako kay Isko na dynamic leader si Isko. So, kasama ko siya sa sa Vice Mayor's League, siya ang presidente ng Pilipinas. Ako naman yung presidente ng Metro Manila, no. So, sumama ako kay noong September 27, bigla nag-declare. So, ano gagawin ko? So, parang sumama ang loob ko dahil kung tatakbo naman pala, bakit hindi lang akin sinabi para hindi naman ako nalagay sa alanganin, di ba?
So ngayon, 2028.
Ngayon 2028, para sa akin, the numbers in the surveys will show, ang pinakamalakas na kandidato ng Liberal Party, si Vice President Lenin Robredo. At tingin ko, tama si Barry, kung pipili siya ng Vice President, not within our group.
So, sino tingin mo ang possible?
Ako gusto ko si Mig Subiri from Mindanao.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
Last term niya na naman.
Pero Attorney Barry, hindi daw niya sinuportan. I was going to ask, what's your reaction on this?
Hindi naman sikreto yun, di ba? At totoo naman, na si Kong Egay,